The galaxy's deadliest hunters land on Earth. A grumpy human teen hunts them for fun. The Ctheran hunting party materialized in the dense forests of northern Montana at 0347 hours on a Tuesday morning. Their cloaking fields shimmered as they adjusted to Earth's atmosphere. 6 apex predators from a species that had hunted sentient prey across 40 star systems. Huntmaster Vector extended his sensory tendrils, tasting the air. This world was perfect, primitive, abundant with prey, and allegedly home to a species that had barely achieved spaceflight. The humans would make excellent trophies. According to the Galactic Hunting Consortium's records, they were soft, slow, and utterly lacking in natural defenses. Remember, Vector clicked to his hunting pack, his mandibles chattering with anticipation. We take only the worthy. Adult specimens in their prime. The young and weak hold no honor. His second, Krazix, activated her plasma caster, the weapon humming with deadly promise. This world's dominant species uses primitive projectile weapons. Our shields will render them harmless. This will be a glorious hunt. What the Ctheran didn't know, what their intelligence had completely failed to mention, was that they'd materialized approximately 3 miles from the property of Marcus Allen, a 17-year-old human who was having the worst month of his life. Marcus sat on his porch at 4 in the morning, unable to sleep, scrolling through his ex-girlfriend's Instagram with the kind of masochistic determination that only a recently dumped teenager could muster. Sarah had posted another picture with him. Chad, the quarterback, the guy with the perfect smile and the college scholarship. The caption read, "Found my forever red heart hash." Forever, Marcus muttered bitterly. We dated for 2 years. 2 years. And I get replaced in 3 weeks by a guy whose entire personality is throwing a ball. His dog, a massive German shepherd named Bear, whined from his spot by the door. The dog's ears were pinned back, and he was staring at the tree line with unusual intensity. "What's up, boy?" Marcus asked, grateful for the distraction from his pity party. Bear growled, low and threatening. The hackles on his neck stood straight up. Marcus frowned and stood, stretching his 6-foot frame. His dad was away on a business trip, which meant Marcus was alone on their 80-acre property. Just him, Bear, and approximately 300 acres of national forest bordering their land. His dad, a former Marine and current hunting guide, had taught Marcus to shoot before he could ride a bike. The gun safe in the house held everything from hunting rifles to his grandfather's Vietnam-era M14. He walked to the porch railing, peering into the darkness. Montana nights were dark, properly dark, without light pollution, the kind of darkness that city people found unsettling. That's when he saw it. A shimmer, like heat waves, but wrong, moving through the trees with purpose. "Okay, that's weird," Marcus said quietly. Bear's growl intensified. Marcus made a decision. He went inside, ignoring Bear's anxious whining, and opened the gun safe. His hands moved automatically, muscle memory from thousands of hours of training. He pulled out the Remington 700, his deer rifle, and started loading it with .308 rounds. Then he grabbed his dad's thermal scope and mounted it. Probably just a bear, he told himself. Or a mountain lion. Nothing to worry about. But his gut, the same instinct that had kept his ancestors alive on this exact land for generations, told him this was something else. He stepped back onto the porch and raised the rifle, looking through the thermal scope. What he saw made his blood run cold. 6 figures, human-shaped, but wrong. They radiated heat in patterns that made no biological sense. Their heads were too large, their limbs too long, and they were moving in a tactical formation, sweeping through the forest like trained soldiers. "Oh, you've got to be kidding me," Marcus breathed. One of them, the largest one, stopped and seemed to look directly at the house. Even at 300 yards, Marcus could see the thing's head swivel with predatory interest. Then it started moving toward his property. "Okay," Marcus said, his voice steady despite the adrenaline dumping into his bloodstream. "Okay, aliens. Sure, why not? This month couldn't get any worse anyway." He settled into a shooting stance, the rifle stock firm against his shoulder. His dad's voice echoed in his head. "Breathe. Aim. Squeeze. Don't pull. Follow through." The lead alien cleared the tree line, stepping onto Marcus's property. Through the scope, Marcus could see it was tall, maybe 7 feet, with an elongated head, mandibles, and what looked like armor plating. It carried some kind of weapon. Marcus made a decision that would change galactic history. He squeezed the trigger. The .308 round struck Vector's shield at 2,800 feet per second. The shield, designed to stop energy weapons and low-velocity projectiles, did absolutely nothing against the high-velocity rifle round. The bullet punched through the shield, through Vector's armor, and through his primary lung sac. The Huntmaster stumbled, his weapon clattering to the ground as purple blood sprayed from the wound. His pack froze in shock. Hostile fire. Krasik screamed, activating her own shield and dropping into cover. Our shields are ineffective. What kind of primitive uses kinetic penetrators at this velocity? Through his scope, Marcus watched the large alien fall. He worked the bolt, chambering another round with practiced efficiency. "That's for invading my property at 4 in the morning," he muttered. "I have school in 3 hours, and I'm already running on 0 sleep because of Sarah and her stupid perfect boyfriend." He acquired the next target, another alien attempting to drag the wounded one to cover. Marcus led the target slightly, accounting for movement, and fired again. The round struck Krasik in the shoulder, spinning her around. Her shield flickered and died. The remaining 4 Theran did something unprecedented in their species' entire hunting tradition. They ran. They sprinted back toward the forest, their cloaking fields activating in panic. But Marcus had the thermal scope, and he'd been tracking game in these woods since he was 10 years old. He dropped 2 more before they reached the trees. As the sun rose over Montana, Marcus sat on his porch steps, drinking coffee and trying to process what had just happened. Bear sat beside him, calmer now, occasionally glancing at the 2 alien corpses lying in Marcus's front yard. Marcus had dragged them closer to examine them. They were definitely dead, definitely alien, and definitely going to be a huge problem to explain. "Dad is going to kill me," Marcus said to Bear. "I mean, assuming the government doesn't disappear me first. Do we have alien treaties? Is there an intergalactic police I just violated?" His phone buzzed. A text from his best friend, Tyler. "Dude, you coming to school? Sarah's definitely gonna be there with Chad." Marcus looked at the dead aliens, then at his phone, then back at the aliens. He typed back, "Might be late. Dealing with some stuff." What he didn't know was that the Theran hunting ship, in orbit above Earth, had just received the biometric data from their fallen hunters. And the ship's AI was currently having the electronic equivalent of a panic attack as it tried to explain to the Theran matriarch how a single juvenile human had killed 4 trained huntmasters in less than 2 minutes. The remaining 2 Theran, including the wounded Vector, materialized on their ship in the medical bay. Autosurgeons immediately began working on Vector's injuries while he gasped in pain and confusion. "Impossible," he wheezed. "A juvenile. We were defeated by a juvenile of this species." The ship's AI, Zeta 9, displayed tactical data on the holographic screens. Analysis indicates the human utilized a chemically propelled kinetic weapon with a muzzle velocity of approximately 850 meters per second. The projectile mass and velocity were sufficient to completely bypass our shield technology. "Huntmaster, I must report this to the matriarch." "No." Vector snarled, trying to rise from the medical platform. This cannot be known. The shame is irrelevant." A new voice cut through the bay. Matriarch Sekthra stepped into view, her ceremonial hunting armor gleaming. She was massive, even by Theran standards, her sensory tendrils scarred from 100 successful hunts. 4 of my best hunters, defeated by a single human child. "Zeta 9, show me this, warrior." The AI complied, displaying footage captured by the fallen hunters' biorecorders. The hologram showed Marcus, tall for a human, but clearly young, with messy brown hair and wearing what appeared to be sleeping clothes, sweatpants and an old band t-shirt. He moved with casual efficiency, firing and reloading with practiced ease. Sekthra's mandibles clicked in what might have been respect or shock. This human shows no fear, no hesitation. It eliminates threats with the efficiency of a void stalker. And you say it is a juvenile. Approximately 17 cycles in their years, Zeta 9 confirmed. Not yet fully mature by human standards. The matriarch was silent for a long moment. If their children are this dangerous, what are their warriors like? Vector, you have brought us invaluable intelligence, even through failure. This species, they are not prey. They are hunters, like us. What are your orders, matriarch? Vector asked weakly. Sekfra's eyes gleamed. We observe. We learn. And if we are to hunt on this world, we will need to understand what we face. Zeta 9, what is the human's designation? Searching local networks. Identification found. The human is named Marcus Allen, age 17, student at a local educational facility. Lives alone currently. Father is designated as a professional hunting guide and former military combatant. A legacy hunter, Sekfra mused. This explains much. Maintain observation protocols. I want to understand this species before we make any further moves. Marcus made it to school by third period, having spent the morning hiding alien corpses in his dad's barn and messaging his father a carefully worded text. Hey dad, something weird happened. Call me when you can. Nothing dangerous. Probably. Sitting in his AP English class, trying to focus on Hamlet while knowing there were dead aliens in his barn, was surreal. He kept checking his phone, waiting for either his dad's response or government black helicopters to descend on his house. Neither happened. What did happen was that Sarah walked past him in the hallway with Chad, laughing at something on his phone. She didn't even glance at Marcus. 2 months ago, she told him she loved him. They'd talk about going to college together, about their future. Then she dumped him over text, saying she needed someone more ambitious, more exciting. Meanwhile, Marcus had just killed 4 alien hunters before breakfast. The irony, he muttered. What was that? Tyler appeared at his elbow, grinning. Tyler was short, stocky, and the only person Marcus had told about the breakup. Dude, you look terrible. Rough morning. You have no idea. Want to grab lunch off campus? My treat. We can talk about your feelings or whatever. Marcus glanced at his phone again. Still nothing from his dad. Actually, yeah, I need to talk to someone about something. 20 minutes later, they sat in Tyler's truck at a roadside burger joint. Marcus had ordered a double cheeseburger and was trying to figure out how to explain the situation. So, Tyler said, dipping a fry in ketchup, you look like you've seen a ghost. Or Sarah and Chad making out. Which, gross, but also, you got to move on, man. Marcus took a deep breath. What if I told you I killed 4 aliens this morning? Tyler blinked. I'd say you've been playing too much Halo and need more sleep. I'm serious. Marcus, my dude, my bro, my guy. You're 17. You live in Montana, and the most exciting thing that happens around here is when old man Patterson's cows get loose. You did not kill aliens. Marcus pulled out his phone and showed Tyler the photos he'd taken. Clear shots of the Ctheran bodies, their strange anatomy, their alien weapons. Tyler's face went through several expressions: confusion, disbelief, shock, and finally, pure excitement. Holy shit. Holy shit. You actually... Marcus, we need to call someone. The FBI, NASA, the president. Or, Marcus said slowly, we keep this quiet until my dad gets back and I can figure out what to do. Because I'm pretty sure admitting I shot aliens on our property might lead to me being either arrested or dissected by government scientists. Tyler opened his mouth, closed it, then nodded reluctantly. Okay, yeah, fair point. But Marcus, dude, you're sitting on the biggest discovery in human history, and you're worried about being late to PE. I'm worried about a lot of things right now. Tyler studied his friend. This is about Sarah, isn't it? You're feeling worthless because she dumped you, and now you've done something literally unprecedented in human history, and you can't even tell anyone. Marcus stabbed at his burger. Maybe. Well, screw Sarah. You're a certified alien hunter now. That's way cooler than throwing a football. Despite everything, Marcus laughed. Thanks, man. His phone buzzed. Finally, his dad. Call me. Now. Marcus stepped outside to make the call, his heart pounding. His dad answered on the first ring. "Marcus, I need you to explain very carefully and very clearly what happened at the house. You got my text." "Son, I got your text. And then I got a very interesting call from a Colonel Sarah Reeves at NORAD, asking if I knew why there were unidentified aircraft in orbit over our property. Now talk." Marcus explained everything. The shimmer in the trees, the thermal signatures, the shooting, the bodies. His dad listened without interrupting, which was somehow more terrifying than if he'd been yelling. When Marcus finished, there was a long silence. "Dad." "Marcus, I need you to listen to me very carefully. You're not in trouble. Not from me, anyway. But we have a situation. The military has been tracking those ships since they entered orbit. There are 6 more of them around the planet. This is first contact, and you just started an interstellar incident by shooting 4 of them. They were on our property." "I know, and honestly, I'm proud you defended yourself. But son, this is bigger than us. Way bigger. Colonel Reeves wants to talk to you. The UN wants to talk to you. Half the alphabet agencies want to talk to you." Marcus felt his stomach drop. "Am I going to jail?" "No, but you're about to become the most famous teenager on Earth. And Marcus, the aliens are still up there, watching. They haven't left. Whatever you did, it got their attention." In orbit, Matriarch Sekthra watched as more human military assets moved into position around the planet. Their response was coordinated, rapid, and impressive for a species that had only recently achieved spaceflight. "They detected our ships immediately," she observed. "Their defensive posture is aggressive. Zeta 9, analysis. The humans are treating this as a hostile invasion scenario. They are preparing for war, Matriarch. However, their weapons systems are largely ineffective against our ship shields. They do not yet have energy weapons but they have those kinetic weapons," Sekthra interrupted. "The same technology that bypassed our personal shields. If they scale that up, if they understand the principle, they could threaten our vessels," Zeta 9 concluded. "Matriarch, our intelligence was gravely flawed. The humans are not prey species. They are dangerous." Sekthra's mandibles clicked in thought. "Open a communication channel. Standard first contact protocols. And Zeta 9? Find out everything you can about this Marcus Allen. I want to understand what kind of species produces such warriors as children." The message reached every government on Earth simultaneously, an audio transmission in flawless English, French, Mandarin, Spanish, and a dozen other languages. "Greetings, humans. I am Matriarch Sekthra of the Ctheren Hunting Confederation. We came to your world believing you to be prey. We were mistaken. One of your young warriors has taught us otherwise. We wish to parley, to understand, to determine if humans are hunters, like us, or if this single individual is an anomaly. We await your response." The world held its breath. And in Montana, Marcus sat in his kitchen with his dad, watching the news coverage on every channel, listening to his own actions being analyzed by CNN, BBC, and Al Jazeera. "This is so weird," Marcus said faintly. His dad, a grizzled man in his 50s with a salt and pepper beard, poured them both coffee. "You know what the weirdest part is? You're grounded." "What?" "You discharged firearms without proper target identification. Could have been a person in a costume." "Marcus, safety first." "Dad, they were aliens." "Doesn't matter. Rules are rules." But his dad was grinning, pride evident in his eyes. "That said, I watched the footage from our security cameras. 4 shots, 4 hits, under stress, at 300 yards in darkness. With a hunting rifle. Marcus, that was some of the finest shooting I've ever seen. Your grandfather would have been proud." Marcus felt warmth spread through his chest. After weeks of feeling worthless, of feeling like he wasn't enough for Sarah, his dad's approval meant everything. "So what happens now?" Marcus asked. Now we wait for the government to show up, which should be." The sound of helicopter rotors filled the air. "Right about now," his dad finished. Colonel Sarah Reeves stepped out of the Black Hawk, flanked by 4 soldiers in full tactical gear. She was a tall black woman in her 40s, with sharp eyes and a no-nonsense demeanor that reminded Marcus of his high school principal, but scarier. She approached the porch where Marcus and his dad waited, Bear standing protectively beside them. "Mr. Allen, I presume," she addressed Marcus's dad. "That's me. This is my son, Marcus. I assume you hear about the aliens he shot." Reeves's expression softened slightly as she looked at Marcus. "Son, you just had the first hostile encounter with an extraterrestrial species in human history. And you won. I have about 400 questions, but the first one is, are you okay?" Marcus blinked. He'd expected anger, accusations, maybe even arrest. Not concern. Yeah, I'm okay." "Good, because we need your help. The aliens want to talk, and they specifically mentioned the young warrior who defeated their hunters. Marcus, they want to meet you, and the UN Security Council has agreed that you should be part of the first contact delegation." "Me? I'm 17. I have homework due tomorrow." "You're also the only human to successfully engage alien hostiles in combat and survive. That makes you uniquely qualified." Reeves smiled slightly. "Consider your homework excused." Marcus's dad put a hand on his shoulder. "It's your choice, son. You don't have to do this." Marcus thought about it. Thought about Sarah, about feeling inadequate, about being told he wasn't ambitious enough. Then he thought about standing on his porch at 4 in the morning, protecting his home, doing what needed to be done. "Okay," he said. "I'll do it. But can Tyler come? He's my best friend, and he already knows everything." Reeves considered. "The kid in the truck down the road who's currently taking pictures with his phone. That's Tyler." "Sure, why not? This whole situation is already insane. What's one more teenager?" 48 hours later, Marcus stood in a UN conference room in New York City, wearing a borrowed suit that didn't quite fit, flanked by diplomats, military officers, and scientists. Tyler sat in the observation gallery, giving Marcus encouraging thumbs up. The holographic display activated, and matriarch Sekthra appeared. She was impressive, even through the projection, massive, armored, with an air of authority that filled the room. "Humans," she began, "I am matriarch Sekthra. I speak for the Ctheran Confederation. We came to your world as hunters. We believed you to be prey. This was our mistake." The Secretary General of the UN, a dignified woman from Brazil, responded carefully. "Matriarch, we appreciate your willingness to communicate. However, you must understand that your arrival and your hunting practices constitute an act of war by our laws." "By your laws?" "Yes, by ours. We were conducting a legal hunt on an uncontacted world. Our intelligence suggested your species was pre-sentient. Clearly, this was incorrect." Sekthra's gaze moved across the room until it settled on Marcus. "You, young warrior, step forward." Marcus felt every eye in the room turn to him. He took a breath and walked closer to the hologram. 48 hours later, Marcus stood in a UN conference room in New York City, wearing a borrowed suit that didn't quite fit, flanked by diplomats, military officers, and scientists. Tyler sat in the observation gallery, giving Marcus encouraging thumbs up. The holographic display activated, and matriarch Sekthra appeared. She was impressive, even through the projection, massive, armored, with an air of authority that filled the room. "Humans," she began, "I am matriarch Sekthra. I speak for the Ctheran Confederation. We came to your world as hunters. We believed you to be prey. This was our mistake." The Secretary General of the UN, a dignified woman from Brazil, responded carefully. "Matriarch, we appreciate your willingness to communicate. However, you must understand that your arrival and your hunting practices constitute an act of war by our laws." "By your laws?" "Yes, by ours. We were conducting a legal hunt on an uncontacted world. Our intelligence suggested your species was pre-sentient. Clearly, this was incorrect." Sekthra's gaze moved across the room until it settled on Marcus. "You, young warrior, step forward." Marcus felt every eye in the room turn to him. He took a breath and walked closer to the hologram. "What is your name?" Sekthra asked. "Marcus Allen." Matriarch." "Marcus Allen. You killed 4 of my best hunters, seasoned warriors with decades of experience, and you did it while barely out of childhood, defending territory using what we considered primitive weapons. Explain how. Marcus shrugged. They were threatening my home. My dog was scared. And honestly, I was having a really bad week. My girlfriend dumped me. I wasn't sleeping. And then aliens showed up at 4 in the morning. I just reacted. The room was silent. Then Sekthra made a sound, a rhythmic clicking that her translator rendered as laughter. A bad week, she repeated. My warriors died because you were having a bad week and defending your companion animal. This is... Marcus Allen, you have my respect. You fought as a Ctheran would fight, protecting your territory, your pack. There is no shame in how my hunters died. They faced a true warrior. So, you're not mad? Marcus asked carefully. Mad? No. Impressed. Curious. Concerned. Sekthra leaned forward. Marcus Allen, if human children are this dangerous, what are your trained warriors capable of? What are your adults? Your soldiers? Colonel Reeves stepped forward. With respect, matriarch, that's classified information. But I think Marcus here has demonstrated that humanity is not to be trifled with. Sekthra's mandibles clicked. Indeed, I propose a treaty. The Ctheran will recognize Earth as sovereign territory of a hunter species. We will not hunt hay. In exchange, we would learn from you. Your weapons, your tactics, your teenager warriors. The Secretary-General looked at Marcus, then at Reeves, then back at Sekthra. We will consider your proposal. But understand, matriarch, any future violations of our sovereignty will be met with force. Marcus's actions will be the template. We defend ourselves vigorously. As any hunter species should, Sekthra agreed. I look forward to learning more about humanity, particularly about this one. She focused on Marcus again. Marcus Allen, I give you the weapons of the hunters you defeated. Among my people, taking a warrior's weapons is the highest honor. Use them well. The transmission ended. Marcus stood there, processing the fact that he'd just been given alien weapons by an alien matriarch who respected him for killing her people while defending his home during a bad week. This is the weirdest thing that's ever happened to me, he said quietly. Tyler's voice echoed from the gallery. Dude, you're a galactic legend now. This is amazing. 3 weeks later, Marcus was back home in Montana, trying to return to normal life. It wasn't easy. He was famous now. International news, talk shows, memes. The teen who hunted the hunters had become a global phenomenon. He'd been offered movie deals, book deals, endorsements. He turned most of them down. He just wanted to finish high school. On a Friday afternoon, he sat on his porch again, this time examining one of the Ctheran weapons. The plasma caster was fascinating, elegant, deadly, and way cooler than his hunting rifle. His dad had helped him understand the basics of how it worked. Bear barked, and Marcus looked up to see a familiar car pulling into his driveway. Sarah. She got out, looking uncertain. She cut her hair, he noticed. She walked up to the porch slowly, like approaching a wild animal. Hey, Marcus, she said. Hey, can we talk? He gestured to the empty chair beside him. She sat, her eyes falling on the alien weapon in his lap. So, she said awkwardly, you've been busy. Yeah, I saw you on CNN, and the UN broadcast, and everywhere. Marcus, I had no idea you were so. I mean, I always knew you could shoot, but this is... What do you want, Sarah? Marcus asked, not unkindly, but tired. She took a breath. I made a mistake. Breaking up with you. You're not boring or unambitious. You're incredible. And I was stupid. Chad is, he's nice, but he's not you. I was wondering if maybe we could try again. Marcus looked at her, really looked at her. 2 months ago, this moment would have been everything he wanted. She'd been his world, and losing her had felt like the end of everything. Now, sitting on his porch with an alien weapon in his lap and the memory of defending his home against extraterrestrial hunters, he saw things differently. Sarah, I appreciate you coming here. Really. But no, I don't think we should get back together. Her face fell. Because you're famous now? Because you think you're too good for me? No, Because I'm not the same person you dated. And honestly, you were right to break up with me. I was comfortable, safe. I wasn't pushing myself. These past few weeks, I've learned something about myself. I'm capable of way more than I thought. And I need someone who sees that potential, who encourages it, not someone who leaves when things get comfortable. Sarah stood, tears in her eyes. I'm sorry, Marcus, for everything. I'm not, he said gently. You breaking up with me led to me being awake at 4 in the morning, which led to me defending our planet from alien hunters. In a weird way, you kinda saved the world. She laughed through her tears. That's such a Marcus thing to say. She paused at the porch steps. For what it's worth, I hope you find someone amazing. You deserve it. Thanks, Sarah. Good luck with Chad. She left, and Marcus watched her car disappear down the driveway. He felt okay. Not heartbroken. Not angry. Just okay. His phone buzzed. A message from Colonel Reeves. The Ctheren want to establish a cultural exchange program. They are asking if you'd be interested in teaching the young hunters about Earth combat techniques. Interested? Marcus grinned and typed back. When do I start? Bear barked approvingly. 6 months later, Marcus stood in a training facility in Colorado Springs, demonstrating long-range marksmanship to a group of young Ctheren hunters who'd been selected for the exchange program. They watched in fascination as he explained wind calculation, trigger control, and breathing techniques. The key, Marcus told them, is patience. You don't rush the shot. You wait for the perfect moment, and then you take it. A young Ctheren named Tikshaw raised a claw. But in combat, there is no time for patience. That's where training comes in. You practice until the patience becomes instinct. Until perfect shots become automatic. Marcus smiled. Trust me, it works. I'm living proof. After the session, he met up with Tyler in the facility's cafeteria. Tyler had joined the program as a cultural liaison, loving every minute of working with alien species. Dude, Tyler said, you're literally teaching aliens how to shoot better. Do you realize how insane that is? Every day, Marcus replied. But they're teaching us to. Their tracking techniques are incredible, and their understanding of predator psychology, game-changing. So, no regrets about how everything went down. Marcus thought about it. The invasion, the shooting, the fame, Sarah, all of it. Nope, no regrets. Well, maybe one. I wish I'd gotten more sleep that night. I was really tired when I shot those aliens. Tyler laughed. Only you would complain about being tired during first contact. As they ate, Marcus's phone buzzed with a new message. Unknown number. He opened it cautiously. Marcus Allen. This is Matriarch Sekthra. I have a proposition. The Ctheren have encountered another species that preys on sentient beings. Unlike us, they do not honor their prey. They are slavers. We are forming a hunting party to stop them. We would be honored if you would join us. Not as prey, as a fellow hunter. Marcus stayed at the message for a long moment. Then he smiled. Hey Tyler. Yeah. How do you feel about going to space? The galaxy's deadliest hunters had come to Earth expecting easy prey. They'd found something else entirely. A species of hunters just as fierce, just as cunning, but with something the Ctheren had never encountered before. The ability to adapt, to overcome, to turn their worst day into their greatest triumph. Marcus Allen had started as a grumpy, heartbroken teenager who just wanted to sleep. He'd become something else entirely, Earth's first interstellar hunter. And the galaxy was about to learn what humans were really capable of.